Students, welcome to English literature class. And now start from line number 95, Act 3, Scene 2. So are those crisp, snaky golden locks which make such wanton gambols with the wind upon supposed fairness, often known to be the dowry of a second head, the skull that bred them in the sepulchre. There are some people, he says, Bassanio says, there are some people with curly golden hair or wigs which move playfully in the wind over a face, supposed to be beautiful. They think that they are looking very beautiful because of the curly golden hair. They are not their real hair. They have worn wigs, and which move playfully in the wind over a face supposed to be beautiful. However, he says, however, to be dowry of second head, the upon supposed fairness, often known to be the dowry of a second head, the skull that bred them in the sepulchre. He says, however, in reality, they have taken their beautiful hair from another head, because they are not their real hair. They have worn wigs, and the skull on which the original hair grew, he says, is lying in the tomb. The man is dead. The man is dead whose wigs such type of person wear. And the skull on which the original hair grew is lying in the tomb. So he says, thus ornament is but the gild shore to a more dangerous sea, the beauteous scarf wheeling an Indian beauty. In a word, the seeming tooth which cunning times put on to entrap the wisest. He says, so outward adornments, outward appearance, outward adornments are treacherous shores to a dangerous sea. A lovely scarf covering a dark face, concealing ugliness. In short, the false appearance of truth, which is the cunning people put on, deceives even the wisest. The false appearance of truth, which is the cunning people put on, deceives even the wisest person. So, he says, very important speech here, O gaudy gold, therefore, thou gaudy gold, shining gold, hard food for Midas, I will none of thee, nor none of thee, thou pale and common drudge between man and man, but thou meager lead, which rather threatenest than dost promise aught, threatenest than dost promised aught, thy paleness moves me more than eloquence, and here choose I, joy be the consequence. So he says, "O shiny gold, O shiny gold." Bassanio says, "which King Midas could not eat, I shall have nothing to do with you. I am not going to choose you. I shall have nothing to do with you, nor with you, O silver, pale and ordinary slave, a medium for exchange of money from man to man. But I choose you, O lead, small value. I choose you, O lead, of small value. You seem to threaten rather than promise anything. Whatever is written on the on the lead casket threatens, but I will choose the lead casket. Your plain message moves me more than any eloquent words could do. And I choose you. May the result lead me to happiness. I wish the result lead me to happiness." Portia says, "how all the other passions fleet to air." She understood that Bassanio is going to choose the lead casket in which her portrait was. How all the other passions fleet to air as doubtful thoughts and rash embraced despair and shuddering fear and green-eyed jealousy. O love, be moderate, allay thy ecstasy, in measure reign thy joy, scant this excess, I feel too thy blessing, make it less, for fear I surfeit. Portia is in great ecstasy, too much, she is too much happy, extremely happy. Now she says, "now may all other emotions vanish into the air, such as doubt, rashly conceived despair, trembling fear, and the green-colored jealousy. O love, be calm and reduce my excess joy. I feel your blessing too strongly. Make it less, lest I suffer from excessive joy." Lest I will suffer from excessive joy. Bassanio says, "what find I here? What find I here?" Opening the leaden casket. "Fair Portia's counterfeit. What demigod hath come so near creation?" Now, when he opens the lead casket, he sees the portrait of Portia and started appreciation of the portrait. He says, "Fair Portia counterfeit, what demigod hath come to so near creation? Move these eyes." He says, "what is this I find here?" Opening the red casket, Lady Portia's portrait. He is astonished. Only a demigod could have created a picture which is so near creation. Do these eyes move? Now, one by one, he appreciates of each and everything of Portia's beauty. Do these eyes move, or do they seem so because of my eyes move? Here are lips. Here. He says, seem the motion. Here are severed lips, severed lips, parted with sugar breath. So sweet a bar should sunder such sweet friends. He says, here are lips, slightly separated by the action of her sweet breath. It means sweet breath is so sweet, a barrier which separates such good friends. Two lips, upper and lower. A barrier which separates such good friends. Here in her hairs, the painter plays the spider and hath woven a golden mesh to entrap the hearts of men faster than gnats in cobwebs. But her eyes, how could he see to do them? Having made one, methinks it should have power to steal both his and leave itself unfurnished. He says here, in her beautiful hair, the painter has worked like a spider, spinning a golden web to entrap the hearts of men, faster than the insects that are trapped in cobweb. But how was he able to see to paint her eyes? It seems that when one eye had painted, it would have the power to blind the painter. He says here again, but her eyes, how could he see to them? Having made one, methinks it should have power to steal both his and leave itself unfurnished. He says here, it would have the power to blind the painter, stealing away his eyes so that he could not paint the second eye. In portrait, only one eye could be seen. So he says, the painter would have been blind, so he could not paint the another eye, second eye. Yet look how far the substance of my praise doth wrong this shadow in underprizing it. So far this shadow doth limp behind the substance. He says here, yet see to what extent the words of my praise does injustice. Though he appreciated so much of her beauty, but he is not satisfied. So he says, to what extent the words of my praise does injustice to her portrait by underestimating it. He says that I have underestimated the portrait. Her beauty is beyond the praise. In the same way, the portrait falls short of the original substance, that is Portia herself. There is no comparison between Portia and Portia's portrait. It says, what is here the scroll, the continent and summary of my fortune. Here is the scroll which contains as well as summarizes my fate. He reads here, scroll, you that choose not by the view, chance as fair and choose as true. Since this fortune falls to you, be content and seek no new. If you be well pleased with this and hold your fortune for your bliss, turn you where you lady is and claim her with a loving kiss. You, it is written in the scroll, you who have not chosen only by the looks, you who have not chosen only by the looks, may you be fortunate, may you be lucky and choose as truly as you have done. Since this fortune has come to you, be satisfied and seek no more happiness, because you have got each and everything, because now Portia is yours. If you are pleased with this and consider this fortune as your joy, then go to where your beloved is and claim her with a loving kiss. Kissing her here, I come by note to give and to receive, like one of two contending in a prize. that thinks he has done well in people's eye. Hearing applause and universal shout, giddy in spirit, still gazing in a doubt, whether those peals of praise be his or no. So thrice fair lady, stand I, even so, as doubtful whether what I see be true, until confirmed, signed, ratified by you. A beautiful scroll, fair lady, here I am with your permission, he says to Portia. Here I am with your permission as I am directed. Kissing her to give you a kiss and receive one. I am like one of two competing for a prize. I am like one of two competing for a prize. The competitor thinks that he has done well in people's eyes. When he hears a loud applause, with joy he is excited, looking around with doubt whether the shouts of applause are for him or not. When he chose the right casket, there was a big round of applause. He was confused whether the round of applause for him or for others. So, thrice blessed fair lady, I am standing here doubting whether what I say is true until it is confirmed and approved by you. Until and unless you say that I am true and you approve it, I will be in doubt. So, Portia, come and approve it that I have chosen the right casket. Here, the speech of Portia will be taught in the next video. 3 videos have been uploaded up to till now. Please see this video, watch this video, and if there is any problem, please ask me. Thank you so much.